to him earlier about his chances this morning. Let's go to the betting ring and Matt Chapman.
Ollie, as we can see on the Tilly board, 2-1 Champers on Ice. But if we go to Mick Williams and next door Sky Blue Racing, 15-8 Champers on Ice. This, lads, is a very, very solid favourite now.
And Mick, very much the horse to beat.
Yeah, he probably is. He's got some really solid form at Cheltenham Festival, you know, finishing place in the Albert Bartlett. He's a grinder. You need that type of horse here. But I'd just be a little bit concerned about his jumping, Luke.
Yeah, I mean, he's a consistent horse. He was a little bit hit and miss, but on the whole, I think that, you know, I'd be happy anyway coming down over those fences for me. Just looking at some of these other horses. Mystical Knight, we talked about him in the JP colours. A horse who I thought won pretty nicely at Hereford.
Yeah, Hereford throwing up good horses at the moment. Nice little race this, Richard Hoyles.
It is, Ed, and there you can see that they're not going to jump that fence, the ditch in front of them. They start just the other side of it, and they climb the hill twice here. That's one of the features of Warwick. It makes it testing when you're racing over 2 miles 5 a little bit later on in the afternoon over hurdles. You only climb that hill once, so it can be quite a test of stamina, and then it changes to a test of athleticism, really, down the back, where the fences come thick and fast, as Vic Fitzgerald was mentioning. There's the starter, his flag raised to signal he's happy for them to sidle up to him. Just one fence on this part of the course before they reach the hill for the first time. So away we go, 3 miles and a total of 18 fences. And early on it is Chef d'Oeuvre in those white cheek pieces, along with American, as they arrive at the first, which they all pop over well enough. Champers on Ice, the grey on the inside of the noseband and white face of Pobbles Bay, who disputes third place, with Mystical Knight a little wider on the course in the hooped colours of green and yellow. The rear of the field is Captain Chaos, and right at the back of the field is the outsider in the tub. So this is where they really climb in earnest. You'll see they breast the rise in a moment or two, and then once we begin the descent, they'll head towards 5 fences that come up pretty thick and fast in the back straight. So American, the green and blue colours for Noel Feely, on the outside of Chef d'Oeuvre, Leighton Aspel in the saddle on the inner. Third place for Champers on Ice, who disputes it early on with Pobbles Bay, and then Mystical Knight, and still towards the rear of the field, Captain Chaos. And as they prepare to make this turn in the tub is the back marker as they'll swing into the back straight. So even though they've been going for quite a while here, they've now run best part of half a mile. They've only taken one of the 18 fences, but now the emphasis in the back straight is very much more on jumping as they head towards the second. Chef d'Oeuvre, an American, from Champers on Ice on the inside of Pobbles Bay and Mystical Knight, as they reach the first of the 5 fences in the back straight. Captain Chaos towards the back of the field as they take number 2, and the back marker over it was in the tub. So American quickly on towards the third, which is the first of the open ditches. Out-jumped on the inside by Chef d'Oeuvre. A mistake by Pobbles Bay in the pale blue colours. Also a little bit clumsy was Captain Chaos, a slap down the neck in 6th place, and Chef d'Oeuvre jumping markedly to the right. We saw the rider, Leighton Aspel, had to readjust his balance there, and American's rider on the outside will be keeping an eye on that with Mystical Knight. As again, Chef d'Oeuvre's comfort blanket is to jump out to the right-hand side to put himself right. So heading on towards the last of the fences down the back. Chef d'Oeuvre out in the lead from in second, American. Third place for Champers on Ice, who's hugged to the inside. Disputing that with Mystical Knight, the horse that was with them, Pobbles Bay, has just drifted back to 5th place after a couple of awkward leaps. Captain Chaos, and in the tub, the outsider, is already finding this a little bit tough. So they make their way up the home straight. And Mick, the leader, Chef d'Oeuvre, just jumping to jump out to the right. Noel Feely's got to keep an eye on that in the green and blue colours.
Yeah, the problem is, Richard, he's got to give himself a little bit of room, because Chef d'Oeuvre, when he gets in close, he tends to run right, and that's putting Noel's horse off. And you can watch the others behind him as well. They're almost like sheep. They're just following him as well. So they'll be keen to try and get inside him if they can.
Yes, likely his opportunity. Almost jumps it too well, American. He keeps carrying Noel to the outside of Chef d'Oeuvre. So they've got a circuit and 10 fences to take, and out in front, Chef d'Oeuvre galloping on. And in front of the stands, leads by a length or so from American. Champers on Ice has just been popping away on the inside in 3rd place, just ahead of Mystical Knight, Pobbles Bay. A length back to Captain Chaos, and the big price outsider in the tub is completely tailed off now. Keep an eye on whether or not that horse is going to go out on the final circuit. It appears the answer may be no. But the other 6 around the corner. Chef d'Oeuvre leads from American, and 3 fences coming up relatively rapidly now before they'll climb the hill for the second time. Champers on Ice in 3rd, in 4th place Mystical Knight. Pobbles Bay in 5th, has just been nudged along. His jumping hasn't really stood the test. And still continuing at the moment is the outsider, as American spring-heeled over that. He's finally got himself clear of the jumping right Chef d'Oeuvre. Despite being a long way from home, Noel Feely on this exuberant horse, bold jumper, has taken it up. Chef d'Oeuvre out to the right. Pobbles Bay struggling at the moment and still continue at the back of the field is in the tub, but Pobbles Bay has just got a bit of daylight between himself and the 5 in front of him as American climbs the hill for the final time. Champers on ice on the inside of Chef d'Oeuvre. No move yet from Mystical Knight. In 5th place on the inside is Captain Chaos, and this long run between fences gives Pobbles Bay a chance to close up. The bad news for him is when we enter the back straight and head towards the final mile, there are no less than 7 fences to take. So American out in front, doing it with plenty of elan. In 2nd place at the moment is Champers on Ice, the grey horse on the inside of Chef d'Oeuvre. Then Captain Chaos on the inside of Mystical Knight. Pobbles Bay at the rear of the 6 that really matter as they turn into the back straight. Even when they initially straighten, there's a bit of a run before they reach the first of them. And American out in front, continuing to race with a great deal of exuberance. Heads towards 7 from the finish. Plenty of the jockeys in behind just pushing along. Champers on Ice on the inside of Chef d'Oeuvre. Mystical Knight, Pobbles Bay's closed up on the outside, and then Captain Chaos, 7 to take. American's rider sees another good stride. Champers on Ice was into the bottom, but Mystical Knight made a mistake, and this is the crucial part of Warwick. If American can attack these fences and see a stride, he does there. He can really begin to turn the screw. Chef d'Oeuvre and Champers on Ice are struggling to keep tabs on the leader, who's 5 lengths in advance with 5 to take. Chef d'Oeuvre, Champers on Ice, Captain Chaos, Pobbles Bay struggling. A mistake by Mystical Knight, and here with 4 to take, American is easing clear. American gets in close, stems his momentum. Chef d'Oeuvre is plugging on in 2nd. Champers on Ice and Captain Chaos in 3rd and 4th. 1 more to take in the back straight, but American was better there, about 7 lengths clear from Chef d'Oeuvre. Into 3rd goes Captain Chaos, who continues to stay on as they make the turn back towards home. American in the hands of Noel Feely leads by 8 lengths from in 2nd place, the plugging on Chef d'Oeuvre. American turning back towards the 2nd last, still with a clear advantage. For the first time, he's just having to be pushed along. He's been out in front quite a long time. Champers on Ice on the inside towards the 2nd last, and all of a sudden the fizz that was in the step of American is just beginning to bubble out. He's still 6 lengths clear from Champers on Ice in 2nd place, and he's got a big lead at the last. American needs a good jump to keep the momentum up, and he finds one. Champers on Ice is beginning to close on the run towards the final 150 yards. Now American needs the line. All of a sudden he's having to be driven. Champers on Ice is trying hard. American is hanging on grimly on the run to the line and has established a big enough lead down the back. So often the crucial factor at Warwick, and American makes it 2 out of 2 in the over fences. Doubles for Noel Feely and Harry Fry. Champers on Ice couldn't get him back. Captain Chaos was 3rd, Chef d'Oeuvre 4th, Pobbles Bay was in 5th place, and they are the only 5 that finish. Well, just over the last couple, American was getting a bit tired, but the rhythm down the back was crucial, and Harry Fry, who before this afternoon hadn't had a chase winner here at Warwick, has now had 2 in a row.